Morning, yogis, and welcome to this practice. And I'm sure you've already taken your first position. You're used to me, either seated or lying down. Whatever feels right today. How are your energies? December, we should normally be slowing down, winding down, but actually we find that we're speeding up and we're very busy. It's almost a bit of a conflict with nature, Christmas time, I find. So observe. There may be times when naturally you're really drawn to just, I need to sit down. I need 5 minutes to just decompress. And actually that's your body naturally telling you that we're supposed to be quieter, hibernate, wind down, and not dazzled by all the glittery lights and rich foods. So just take a couple of breaths, come into this space, come into your body, and start to just tune in to what the situation is now, where you feel, what you feel in the body. Sometimes when we go quiet, we can notice things that we haven't noticed before, or that is still existing. We humans have a wonderful habit of ignoring things that are persistent within us at times. So coming quiet, we can really truly observe. Some things may need attention, and other things may pass. So ground yourself. Ground your energies into earth. And let's just scan through the chakras. Check in with root, base of the spine. Notice anything associated with your legs, all the way down to feet. And whether you're feeling safe and secure at the moment. There are many times throughout our day that we might feel a little bit wobbly and off kilter. And we can bring this energy back into balance. Sacral, lower back, lower digestive system. How are we digesting life at the moment? Sometimes things can get thrown at us and we just cannot assimilate it. And then the digestion, the lower back can all get thrown out. Solar plexus, how's your self-worth? How's your confidence and just feeling balanced in this centre? Heart. Sometimes this time of year can be very emotional for people. It's not all just fun and games. It can bring up lots of thoughts and feelings. And throat, how we communicate that as well, whether we hold it all in or whether we can express and have certain close loved ones that we can offload to. Our third eye, Ajna, our intuition, are we following it or do we ignore it? And then crown, that connection to our source. Just glancing through them today. If you're seated, come off your cushion, pop it to the side, and then come into the lying position. We'll begin our basic stretches. So when you're ready, right arm up and over on the inhale. Hand falls to the floor behind. Toes lifted, flex the foot, and just stretch. How does it feel today? We do this all the time, so we can notice from week to week whether something feels slightly out. We don't want to push too far because we might, twinge something. Enjoying this flex. And then just point the toes. And a really lovely stretch over your foot and the top of the leg. Exhale when you're ready. Just let that arm slowly come down. Palms up for a moment. And then the other side, inhale, left arm. And again, toes lifted, pushing into the heel with the foot flexed. And a lovely, lovely reach. This always makes me feel like I've got more space in the body doing this. Lovely stretching your calf muscle too. Stretch the palm and the fingers of your hand. Point the toes and just enjoy whatever you're feeling. Exhale, arm down. Feeling all maybe tingly in the palms of your hands for a moment, and then both arms up and over. And really enjoy this one. Flex, point the toes. How long can you make yourself? I like to think of all the cartilage between the vertebrae sort of expanding like a sponge here and creating space. And then exhale. Let the arms down. Have a moment, Shavasana. Take a deep breath. And a nice long sigh. And let everything soften. Notice if your shoulders just went down then when you did that. So bring the right knee in, hands around the shin. Deep inhale. And then a whole full exhale as you come up. Really follow your breath, leave the body, the belly falls to the spine, holding the breath. And then inhale when you're ready, coming down. Other side. Left side. Inhale. And exhale. Full breaths, really filling the body and then emptying the body. And when you're ready, coming down. And in both knees. Big, deep inhale. Exhale. And take your time with this exhale. Let the whole breath leave the body, all that stagnant air that gets half left in the body. Inhale when you're ready, coming down. Lovely gentle rock here. Let's extend hands and feet into the air. We'll warm up this way round today. Stretching fingers, stretching toes, and then making fists and curling and opening the toes. Thumbs in and thumbs out. And then flexing backwards and forwards, wrists and ankles. And you can pause. It's really nice just to pause for a sec and feel that lovely stretch. And where you feel the stretch down the arms, whether it's outer arm or inner arm, the yin or the yang channels that run through. And then rotating. Wrists and ankles. Clicky today, perhaps? Go in the other direction. Is it as clicky? And then hands down by the side. Keep the legs raised. Let's cycle. Lovely movement in the knees, a little engagement in the belly. And then reversing. I started to notice my right knee has a little click. Nothing painful, nothing that I can feel, just a little click every now and then. Just drop the feet down, have a moment here just to release that little bit of engagement in the core that we had to hold there. Pop the left foot on the mat, right leg's raised, and then big circles. Enjoy how wide you can bring your leg, how far you can swoop it round. Thinking about what this is doing with our hip joint, the ball and socket. And then the other way. How much tightness you have in the back of the leg as you swing the leg up. And then let's swap sides, left side. Same again. And just notice your breath. Has it become very upper chest? Are you holding your breath? And another way. Feeling this lovely hip joint, that ball and socket, getting the whole rotation here. And then just bring these in for a moment. Have a little rock side to side. Bring the feet to the mat and then we'll just do reverse pigeon. So right foot onto left knee, hands hug round the left thigh and bring that leg away from the mat so that we can come into a stretch through the right hip. Right buttock, right thigh, you'll feel this. Notice if you're really tense. See if you can just let the muscles go a little bit. And then we'll do the other side. So releasing, popping the left foot on the right knee and then hugging the right thigh. Enjoy your breath here. We have this hour together to really observe our breath, because most of the rest of the day we'll be unconscious to it, I bet. And then release. Just hug knees in for a moment if that feels nice. We'll come into a little bit of a happy baby stretch too, so feet up to the ceiling. Hands on the soles of the feet if you can. Otherwise, just round ankles, taking the knees out wide. Lovely stretch through the backs of your thighs here as well. Take some deep breaths down into the belly. And then just bring the knees in together. We'll come up to seated and just warm up the upper body for a moment. Grabbing your cushions if you wish. Wherever is comfortable for you to sit. I actually don't like sitting on the mat without my cushion now. Just feels like the whole body collapses. That's a much nicer way of elevating the body. Just rest hands to chin mudra. Before we begin with the head movements, just drop the eyelids closed. Root down again through your tailbone. And let's just take a couple of breaths just to center into this seated posture. And then when you're ready, take the chin down. Lovely stretch through the back of the neck. What are you feeling today? Any nerve pain? Any pulling, muscular pain? Not pain necessarily, but sometimes sensation. And just noticing what's going on. Take the chin up. Nice, slow, fluid movement. And I like to really kind of pull my chin forward sometimes and get that lovely extra stretch through the throat. And then down again. Just noticing how it feels as you just move. And where you might start to feel radiating sensation. Once more up. And then coming centre. Tilting the head right. And left. And just pausing momentarily to enjoy that lovely long stretch down the neck. Same again. And the other side. Coming back and then twisting over right shoulder, left. Same again. It's funny sometimes, you'll feel sensation when you take the head up and down, but then when you do these other movements, you may not feel the same feelings. Coming back to centre. And then starting with the head drop down, full rotation. Both ways. So easy to have little kind of impingements of our nerves through our back sometimes. So just being very aware of what you're feeling throughout your body. And then hands on the shoulders, and let's just loosen up whatever we're holding in our shoulders here. And the other way. I always enjoy this movement. It feels so freeing. I think we forget how much we do, not just take on in our life, but energetically hold within our auric field around this area. So just releasing and letting go there. Okay, we're going to come into boat pose. We'll start with a seated balance. We'll do 3, progressing each one as we do. So come into a seated position. Just pull out the pads of the buttocks so the sit bones connect. Hands underneath the thighs, and with a lovely long back. It's really important to keep the back nice and straight here. Let's just tilt back. Finding balance wherever you are comfortable. It might be with the legs really low, or you can just bring your legs up parallel to the mat, half boat. Have a gentle engagement in the abdominals and the pelvic diaphragm as well here. How still and stable can you be? And can you still breathe? There's a real tendency with some people to hold their breath. See if you can gently feel the rhythm of your breath. And then just come down, release. If you need to rub the tops of your legs or anywhere, just have a moment. And we'll come up again. So engaging, coming up, holding this pose. It's about the stillness, not necessarily how far you can bring the legs. Continuing to breathe down into your belly, following that ebb and flow. And then just gently lower. Again, maybe just rock the legs, move into the body, free up that feeling. And then finally we'll come into this again and release the arms. We won't hold for too long, and if you can't hold for too long, please release it. Don't aggravate any back issues. Bringing arms out parallel. Breathe. And release. Noticing the muscles that we have around the tops of our legs here. Okay, onto hands and knees. Just a nice little flex through our spine, especially as we've just engaged through that lower spine with boat pose, so cat-cow. We're going to do the version where we start at the tailbone and then we just roll up through the body rather than the head and tailbone going at the same time. So tune into your breath, always important. Get into the rhythm of your breath. And then on the exhale, let's just start to turn the tailbone down. We start to lift up through the sacral and then thoracic, and gently the head drops. On the inhale, turning the tailbone up. Belly starts to drop. Chest drops and we lift the head. And just keep flowing, thinking about all the vertebrae that we're moving here. The 7 vertebrae in the cervical spine, 12 in the thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral, and the 4 fused in the lower part, that tailbone area. Gently just moving. And when you're ready, let's come back to a nice stillness. Take the knees wide, come back, Hatha Balasana. Keep your arms lifted off of the mat rather than dropping them. Be quite active through the arms here and creep your fingers forwards so that you can feel your shoulder blades being pulled away. And as you sink back, you can feel that lovely stretch through your back too. And then moving your hands over towards the right hand side, keeping them, parallel together. We get a lovely stretch into the left side of our body, targeting gallbladder meridian. And then walk your hands back through centre and then over to the left. Just dropping the head down. Take a few breaths here. Feel the breath move into the right side of your body, the right lung. And gently coming back through centre, we can walk the hands back towards our body. Bringing knees together, turning the toes under for a little toe stretch on the way up to standing. Notice how invigorating that feels to just stretch the plantar of your foot. It can get so ignored a lot of the time. And then gently, when you're ready, coming up. Lovely standing position. Already feel quite invigorated from the feet, all through the back. And we'll come into tree pose. Opening into Tadasana. Just get used to how it feels to be on both feet, the balance in all 4 corners of the feet. Weight goes now into the right leg, lifting left. Wherever you're comfortable today. I'm just going to keep the foot quite low, just below the knee. Hands to heart, breathing into the belly, focusing on drishti. And taking arms up. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale to heart. Lovely. Swapping sides. So left leg grounded, right leg comes up wherever you're comfortable. Hands to heart. Take a moment just to tune into the breath. Noticing if you're a bit more wobbly this side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. Inhale together. And exhale to heart. Lovely. And release. Definitely out of balance on both sides. Well, the left side with me today. Feet just a slightly more than hip distance apart. We'll take the arms up. And we'll swan dive down, coming to a lovely stretch here. Have a moment to dangle. If you want to hold on to your arms, that always feels nice as well, because you can pull them away from the body and get a stretch through the back. Shake through the head. Take some deep breaths and feel the back of your body open. And then when you're ready, just rolling up. Lovely stretch through the back. I'd like to do cloud sequence now as well. So a balance but with movement too. Bring the arms up. We're going to alternate the legs with this. So take a deep breath in. And then when we exhale, just bring the right knee up and the arms down. We inhale as our limbs come apart. And then weight into the right leg, lift the left. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just alternate in this kind of moving balance. Notice if you're better one side than the other. And if you can, trying to team the breath with the movement as well. So exhale, arms down, knee up. Inhale, arms up, foot down. And we'll just do one more each side, one right, one left. Notice how it feels to move your arms. How do the shoulders feel today? And as you put the left foot down, just draw your hands back to your heart centre. Have a moment. Sometimes when I find people have difficulty with the tree pose, where it's a really static balance one side, that moving balance of cloud sequence, I don't know, it just feels a little bit easier and a bit more fluid for people. So we're going to come into a moon salutation today. Coming to the top of your mat. So we'll take it nice and slow and flow through this in a lovely fluid way. Bringing hands to heart. Connecting with our feminine energy with this practice. Deep breath in. Exhale. Find the end of that exhale. Find the beginning of this breath. And then the beginning of the exhale as we come forwards. It's really lovely to notice that full breath. And lifting up, looking ahead. Hands down, right side comes back. And gently up into a nice crescent lunge here. Let's just sink into this. Feeling the top hip flexors. Hands float down as we come back into down dog. Take a moment to ground your hands, finger bases here, tailbone lifted. And let's have a moment, let's pace and walk the dog. So pushing the heels down alternately and really feeling that stretch through the backs of the legs. Coming to stillness, take a lovely deep breath in. Exhale as you come back. Empty out the lungs. Flow through to cobra or sphinx, whatever feels right today. Feeling strong in the arms and shoulders here. Up to down dog. And then we'll take the left foot forwards. Up into crescent. Sinking those hips. Lovely stretch here. Hands to the top of the mat. And sweep up. Good to feel a little bit of movement in the body. Just take a breath. We'll come into the other side. So when you're ready, inhale. Exhale, release arms down. Full inhale up. Salute the moon. Goddess energy. Looking ahead, left side back. And again, sink into this one. How does it feel in your lower back? Just observe all sensations here. Down dog. Let's just have a moment to come into one-legged down dog. So raising your right leg and tilting that right hip right up towards the ceiling. So turning the body and then bringing that leg down. Other side. Left leg raised. Turn the hip upwards, opening towards the ceiling. And then down. Deep inhale. Exhale all the way back. Flow into cobra. And just pausing in cobra here. I'm just going to hold this for a breath or two. See if you can look over your left shoulder. Can you see your foot? And then the right shoulder. Feeling this pose. Let's push up into down dog. And right foot forwards. Crescent. And then hands to the top. Feet together and sweeping up. Lovely. Feeling that a little bit in your arms and legs today. Just take a moment in Shavasana. A little rest, but also the opportunity to observe and scan through. Nice deep inhale, sigh on the exhale. Release. Notice your heart rate. If it's just, a little faster than normal. Pumping all the blood around the body. The lymph is flowing through our body, improving our immune system. Movement's so important for health and wellness. When we sit and we're idle and we don't do anything, everything just gets really stagnant. So when you're ready, let's just draw knees in. Have a moment here. There's no rush to move through this. Just enjoy really massaging your back. Rolling in a few circles, both directions. And then just coming up to a standing position again. We're going to come into the little flow that we do with Trikonasana and some warriors, and maybe just progressing those a little bit today. So feet leg length apart. When you look down, outside edges of the feet should be nice and parallel rather than feet pointing outwards. And then let's lift through the body. Take the energy from the earth, bring it all through the soles of your feet. drawing it up through your body. Activate the biceps, hands to hips. Have that lovely feeling of lift and length through your body. Turn the left toes in and the right toes out. Swinging hips back round so we're in a nice alignment. Take the right arm out. Gently in your own time find Trikonasana. And taking that left arm up if that's comfortable. How does it feel today? This is a pose we know so well. How does it feel through your left hip, around the left buttock, side of the waist, back of the left arm? How does it feel through your neck? So really tuning in. Where do you most feel it through your feet? When you're ready, just lifting up. We'll come into Warrior Two. Just separate the feet a little bit. So there's a bit more of a space between that front and back foot. Lovely bend in the front knee. Let's sink into this. Feel strong. Notice if your back leg is wobbly and whether we can engage here. A nice pull over the top hip flexor and past Svakonasana. What do you notice most in this pose? Is it the stretch in the waist? Is it where you're leaning on your front leg? Just gently being observant. Let's come up into Reverse Warrior. And then coming back into Warrior Two, we're going to rotate that left hip forward and come into Warrior One. So just adjusting your feet if you need to, and just sinking into this one. Feeling strong. And from here, we're going to push into that right foot and come into Warrior Three, if you can. This comes into a balance. And then coming forward. Take that foot back, coming back into Warrior One, Warrior Two, and then forward facing feet. Have a moment, let's just clasp our arms, come forward. Relax, rest. Feel that lovely stretch through the backs of your legs. And we'll drop the hands to the mat, walk the hands forward. So that we come into down dog almost with the legs wide. Keeping the heels on the mat. Notice if you're tense and tight through your knees and around these muscles. Let's walk the hands back. And then walk the feet in. We'll roll up and come and do exactly the same the other side. Just having that little moment in between just gives us that kind of break to feel what we felt that side and then go with a fresh mind into the other side. I'm going to come back into this same position. Feet about a leg length first. Lifting the energy up. Hands to hips. Right foot turns in. Left foot turns out. And Trikonasana. How does it feel this side? Feeling strong through the feet and legs. Lovely open right shoulder. And gently coming up, Warrior Two. Take a moment to find the placement of your feet if it doesn't feel quite right. Sinking into this. Where's your breath? Is it all in the chest? Or can we breathe to the belly? Strong legs. And then side lunge, past Svakonasana. Lovely deep breath here. Coming up, Warrior Two, Reverse Warrior. And then Warrior One, so rotate that right hip forward, just a slight adjustment into your back foot. Deep breath, sink into this. And then when you're ready, we're going to push into that front leg, come into warrior three. So when you're ready, take your time. It is a balance. And then back to warrior one, two, and forward facing feet. Clasp your elbows. Inhale, exhale. Have a moment. And then dropping hands to mat. Walk the feet in. We're going to come up into chair pose just the one time. I'm going to turn around to the side. Before we come up, engage belly and pelvic diaphragm. Bring the arms parallel. Push the bottom back like you're about to sit into a chair. And chair pose. Utkatasana. Gently lifting up. And coming out. Have a moment back on your mat. Even though that little sequence of warriors is quite slow, holding them for that length of time, you'll feel it in your body. Let's enjoy a nice little rest. As you lie here, just be aware of what tingling you might feel, or warmth or coldness, whether certain parts of the body feel really stimulated, perhaps your thighs, soles of the feet. How does it feel around the upper back and shoulders? And just allowing the breath to settle. And then draw the right knee and then left knee in. Enjoy a nice little rock on your back. And then we'll come into bridge. A nice gentle pose for our spine and the flow of the breath as well. Feet to buttocks, palms down. And we'll come up and down just with a lovely flow. We'll do about 5, but literally just go with your breath. So when you're ready, after a gentle engagement in the belly and pelvic diaphragm, push up, breathe in. Find the end of that inhale, and then the exhale, we start to gently roll the upper spine, mid-spine, lumbar, and then lower back down. Roll that out. Use the breath. Inhale up. A lovely full deep breath. You might hold and pause at the top and then exhale. And it might be a long exhale and a hold of the breath out. When you're ready, inhale. Feel the belly, feel the lungs. And then exhale. Notice if you're drawn to the internal and the external kumbhaka, that external retention and the internal retention. And again, feeling strong through the backs of your legs, the thighs and buttocks. Exhale. And we'll just do one more. Really conscious, be completely aware of breath and body. And then as you just roll that tailbone out, have a moment and extend legs into Shavasana. Feeling that stimulation through certainly perhaps the backs of your knees, backs of your thighs. or buttocks and pelvis. Lovely for your bladder channel, that pose as well, because the bladder channel runs through the back of the body and back to the legs. Just enjoying being in your body right now. Drawing these in. Have a little rock. And we're going to come up into butterfly. This is a pose I often do at the beginning when we do a stretch, but it's actually really nice to come into this pose for a little bit longer than just a few breaths. And perhaps we'll take it in this instant into a little bit of a yin kind of essence. So allow yourself just to soften forward as we kind of come towards the end before relaxation. Just let everything soften. If you need support under your knees, use some pillows. This is a really lovely pose for your liver, your kidneys, gallbladder and spleen. And just take this opportunity to look for the tension that you're holding in your body. Could be the backs of your knees, a little bit held in one or other of the inner thighs. Relax your shoulders and your head and neck. Just let everything soften here. Become passive rather than active. And just notice your thoughts. Are you thinking your thoughts, or are your thoughts thinking you? And when we're ready, we're just going to lift up. It was probably 2.5 minutes maybe in that pose. Not quite as long as we would for yin, but still a nice length to just observe a pose and how you're feeling in it. If you'd like to, we're just going to do a breathing exercise, sort of meditation before we lie down. If you want to come onto cushions, you can, whatever feels right, just to sit for a moment. Perhaps put some warm bits on if you want to, because we're going to come into lying down in a moment. I'd like to do a breathing practice where we count the breath in, excuse me, clear my throat. We're going to breathe, we'll do square breath. Okay, so we're breathing in for a certain count, holding for the same count, exhaling, and then holding the breath out. So both the internal and the external kumbhaka, the retention of breath. I'd like you to choose whether the count of 3, 4 or 5 is most comfortable for you, but try and keep the count even, so it's sort of like a square. If it doesn't feel right, change it. You can change it to triangle breath, where you just drop that external retention, but you do hold the breath in. So whatever feels right for you, just rest your hands. We'll close the eyes, and choosing what number in the count is good for you, we'll begin. So inhale, hold, exhale, and then hold. Begin again. 4 is usually my count. In, hold, exhale, hold. And then just carrying on in a little bit of a rhythm that you found. One more round. And then maybe take a deep breath. Allow yourself now to become comfortable, lie down, or remain seated if you wish, whatever feels right. Just make sure you're lovely and warm and cosy. So sometimes I just find something in a book that is quite nice to read to you. I've not read this, but the opening part seemed quite interesting. So this talks about put your inner female into the guiding position. Each of us, man or woman, has within us an inner male and an inner female. The inner female acts as your intuition, the door to your higher intelligence. Your male listens to her and acts to support her feelings. The true function of male energy is to provide absolute clarity, directness, and a passionate strength based on what the universe inside you, coming through your female, tells you. In order to live a harmonious and creative life, you need to have both your inner female and male energies fully developed and functioning correctly together. To fully integrate the inner male and female, you need to put your female, your intuition, in the guiding position. The female power and the power of the spirit is always within us. It is up to the male energy, the ego, to determine how we relate to that power. We can fight it, block it, attempt to control it, try to keep ourselves separate from it, or we can trust and open up to it, learn to support it and move with it. Individually and collectively, we are shifting from a position of fear and control to a position of surrender and trust of the intuitive. We may not realise that the basic functions of feminine and masculine energies exist in each person. We usually associate male and female energies with their respective body types. From this perspective, each person would only be half a person, dependent on the other half for its very existence. As we cannot live effectively in the world without the full range of masculine and feminine energies, Each sex has felt helplessly independent on the other for its survival. Now, as we are becoming aware of both male and feminine qualities within us, a deep sense of wholeness can emerge for each individual. Traditionally, men have been disconnected from their feminine energy, thereby disconnected from life, power, and love. Men have been out there in the world, secretly feeling helpless, alone, empty, although they must pretend to be in control and powerful. They seek nurturing and inner connection through women, but as they connect with their own inner feminine, they receive her incredible love from within themselves. Traditionally, women have been in touch with their feminine and female energy, intuition and feelings, but they haven't backed her up with the male energy. Many have not acknowledged what they know inside. They have acted as if they were powerless, when actually they're really powerful. They have sought external support and validation from men. As women claim their inner male and allow him to support their female energy, they both feel both feminine and powerful. So, an interesting piece on actually the feminine and masculine energies within all of us and whether they are in balance or out of balance a lot of the time, and where we seek balance externally from us. Just having some quiet now. As you lie there now, I don't want you to move just yet. Just draw your consciousness back to where you are lying in your room. And perhaps just reflect back on where your thoughts had been just a moment ago. Maybe you were almost drifting off to sleep, or you had a very busy mind, or actually you can't even remember what that last thought was. It's escaped you like a dream. Just have a few moments as you lie there to be just fully conscious of your whole body from head to toe, of the temperature that you're feeling, the feeling of your clothes against your skin. Noticing any smells around you and what you're hearing near and far away. What you taste in your mouth. And if your eyes are closed, what you see behind your eyelids. Just being fully in your body, just for a few more moments. And then aware of a few deep breaths. Just take a few deep breaths now. Follow that full inhale and full exhale, and how your body responds. And gently, if you're lying down, you can start to now wiggle fingers and toes and think about bringing the knees into chest. Coming back into your day, feeling renewed, stretched, perhaps a little bit taller, a bit lighter in your heart and your mind, body. It's really lovely to notice how you felt perhaps at the beginning and how you're feeling now. What little shift. So just gently in your own time, work your way up to seated, and we will chant 3 Oms together. As you chant the Oms, notice how it feels through your throat, but where it ripples out through your body, perhaps your heart you'll feel as well. And you might feel it even in lower down in your body. It's always curious. Notice if your Oms feel strong and powerful, or whether they're a little bit wobbly and weak today. It's always curious. So hands to Chin Mudra, close the eyes. We'll take a deep breath in. Hands together, rub the palms vigorously, create heat. And then palm the eyes. Feel that gentle warmth, blinking, let the light through. Hands to heart. Om Shanti. Namaste.